So here's a real question. What is the most frustrating thing about running a business that makes board games? And weird follow-up, would you miss that thing or those things if they were gone?
Triggered.
What is it? What's the most frustrating?
I think you should ask Tom that right now.
In your opinion, what's the most frustrating thing?
I mean, the most frustrating parts about running a board gamey business is everything that doesn't involve making board games, which is most of what we spend our time doing.
Yep.
Mark and I were talking this morning about how he and I have not sat down and actually worked on a board game in 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And that's what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of this is just our own, scaling problems and things that we need to solve as business people. But it is frustrating that so much of our time is consumed by manufacturing, freight, all the logistical things, taxes, international law, unbelievable amounts of customer service. Like your entire everything can be completely consumed by stuff that doesn't involve actually making the thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that can be a little bit soul crushing for people. I've talked to a number of well-known industry people whose names you would know that are considering stopping because the other stuff is just so much and so exhausting, and there just keeps being more of it. And none of these businesses are really big enough to just go hire someone to handle that. You just can't.
Then you don't make any money.
There's not enough money in board games to just have a big company where you hire people to do, the quote unquote crap work. It's just not how it goes.
You got to have a thick skin. I think, if I look at the times when I get most discouraged, it has to do a little bit with how much we invest, and then if it's not perfect, how much the imperfections come into the light, even though it's the 1% or the 2%. Nothing that we ever make is going to be perfect, and it's, so you have to just kind of roll with it and be like, people who love our stuff sometimes will be like, I love everything you guys do, but, and then they'll list something, and then somebody else, that's their first experience with what we've made is, oh, so you mean they didn't really do a good job? They're inept. They're incompetent.
They didn't proofread the
rule book or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
And of course
Too
we
soon,
proofread the rule book. We
sorry.
just, it's, and so those things can be, I think, soul crushing, and what it requires is we just kind of have to get past that, right? Like, at a certain level, that comes with the territory. And the thing that I've gained the most from that is the self-awareness about how much I do that with other things, other people's products. As a consumer myself, and I'm not perfect at it yet. Obviously, nothing's ever perfect, but that, I think, is one of the hardest things because it takes away the joy so quickly. And it doesn't just take away the joy from the creator. It takes away the joy from other people's first look at something they're really excited about. You see this with movie trailers too. People were like, oh, that movie looks terrible. I hate the way that they casted this person. It's like, gosh, like you just framed this whole experience with something tragic, and instead of just kind of looking at it for what it is. And that, I think, is what I struggle with the most. And again, that's something that you have to just kind of learn to be responsible enough to just bypass that and be okay with what it is and be excited about why you're doing what you're doing, what the motivations we have are here, and be okay with the fact that it's not perfect. And some people are just not going to be okay with the fact that it's not perfect.
Casted. You said casted.
Casted? I said casted.
You did, and I wanted to point it out
I didn't mean
so that we can all dwell on it, because you said a bunch of amazing things.
Cast.
But there's that one
thank
thing
you for
that you
proving
could-
my point.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, there we go.
Exactly.
It took me a second.
Dismissed.
It took me a second. He edited.
That's right.
So-
if these guys would just edit that back, we don't have to listen to
Is
that.
it casted?
No.
No, it's not
It's
cast.
incorrect. I did it wrong.
Oh, I thought you were correcting him, saying that he should have said casted.
No, he did say casted.
Should have said cast.
Yes.
But you see what happened now. The entire conversation about
Has
what
just
Mark said is just about this one word.
Yep.
Right. I don't remember him saying anything.
And
poetic
normally,
or
but
impactful.
anyone viewing this that would be the whole framework for how they perceive what Mark said. Yeah.
casted.
Yeah, that would be
instead
the
of-
headline.
And it's
Reddit is already going off about how Mark
Right.
said casted.
yeah. There's 45 threads about it now. and it's so second nature for us to do that in this culture. And I don't know, maybe we can work against that together.
Well, I think maybe part of that is modeling, right? If it's the joy suckers that we're wanting to suck the wind out of their sails, then we should be probably doing all of the modeling of focusing on the positive, focusing on...
The irony is a lot of this happens from people who love the thing that they're talking about. They just want it to be even better. And I think that's the trap.
Well, it's a way of engaging with it. It's an obvious entry point for engaging with this thing that you're interested in. You know, like, I really like this, but here's all the little imperfections that I noted. And then someone gets to feel smart about themselves.
I was going to say, is it something where people are kind of trying to... you can't see this if you're listening to the podcast, but I'm straightening up. I'm putting my shoulders back. It's like I'm putting myself in a position of knowledge and power if I can find the things that are wrong.
I think so. We've talked about this a few times, but I do think that is a lot of what happens on social media is we're all telling a story to ourselves about how we are capable or smart or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Adorable.
Which is how you get what Mark is describing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there are like two main... not methodologies, but mindsets that go behind getting to that place. One is the intellectualism. You know, I remember growing up, watching any movie with my dad was an act of intellectualism. He was perpetually trying to make me be like, oh, but you know, don't you see that this plot point is unresolved, and don't you see how like it doesn't make sense that this character would understand that, and like pointing out all those little things, and so but. Not to tear down the art, but just to awaken me
to sharpen
to those things so that I could understand and notice them. And so that's one perspective.
Like, Dad, this is a movie for 8-year-olds. This is really unnecessary.
So then, what makes you more angry? Something that is nothing at all like what you like/want, or something that is almost there. Something that you love 98% of it, but you know, it would have been perfect for you if not for this one small aspect or thing. And I think that those are like the two mindsets that can get people into feeling like they need to speak out about the one thing that isn't good that they think.
Right, but show me something that's perfect, right? So that strenuous activity that we have inside, that aspiration that we have, or that desire that we have for something to be perfect, what's perfect for me is different than what's perfect for you, and it's the same thing, right? And good leaders will just tell you, you just have to shut the noise out. Like that's just what you do. And I think that that's absolutely true. It's just hard, because we're emotional beings too, and so you can dismiss those things. You're not an emotional being.
No, everyone who knows me will tell you.
That's right. That's right. That's.
So the second half of the question is, would you miss it if it was gone?
That part I would not miss if it was gone.
I get what that is setting us up for. Like, yes, customer service and customers in general can be a hassle, but oh my gosh, that's the whole reason we do this. Is to engage with people and to make things that bring light and joy into people's lives, and so it's all worth it. But I think, I would remove that part of our culture. I would remove the other thing that, to me, is a bigger frustration in the board game side of our business, which is the logistics and the taxes and all the business crap. Like, if someone could come in here and make all that instantly go away, no, I would not miss it for 1 second. I don't feel like it is, like, making me better in some way or making my experience, it's other things aren't better relative to it, or like all the, I think, really positive things that the phrasing of this question is trying to set me up for. To heck with that. I would just delete it if possible.
I feel similarly on the logistics side. However, the side about what I'm deeming the joy suckers, the people who focus on that 5% that isn't good, I'm not sure we'd be better without it, because it's evidence of passion, in my opinion. And the passion may be portraying itself in a less than productive way, but without the passion of people caring enough about games to study and get into them and find out all the minutia, I don't think we'd have a customer base.
We need constructive criticism to get better at what we're doing. The difference, I think, in my mind, is somebody complaining about something that's not perfect, as opposed to, have you considered, something like this that would broaden or would expand perspectives? And like the constructive criticism is just so different than negative feedback, right? And I think that there is a difference because you're right. Feedback and deepening and broadening your perspective on something is something that we need to evolve and grow and get better. And I don't think we should dismiss that. So I think I would miss that portion of it. The portion I would not, worry if it was gone has a lot more to do with just complaining about something not being the way I subjectively think it should be.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's, what you're describing and some of the things we experience, like there's a big gulf in between. Like we get messages that make people cry in the office. We got a message the other day from someone who said that if every single one of us lost our homes or our apartments and our families were on the street, they would not be sad about it because then maybe we would learn the consequences of our actions. It's like,
yeah, that's
okay.
That's
for a
not
board game.
necessary.
Right.
Because your board game was misdelivered. Like, so there are some of the customer relations things that I would absolutely take away because it's, at that point, it's not even about like that's not even misplaced passion. That's something different.
Yeah, it is.
And
That's entitlement. At that
I
point.
would take that away.
Well, it's that we need counseling. We need deep reflection.
Yeah, that's a greater level of darkness
Yes.
than I don't quite know how to engage with this thing
Or
I'm
like you
excited
missed
about.
2 periods in the rule book.
I understand what that is. That's what you're describing. That I have no problem with. I feel like we should have discussions about why that's how we're engaging with what we're engaging with. But those discussions are productive and interesting and do make us better people. Saying that you hate us and our families, like there's nothing remotely productive about that. And you would be stunned by the number of messages like that we receive. Like that's not like a one-off that this one time we got 4 years ago and we still talk about it. Like I probably have 10 of those in our inbox right now.
Entitlement,
Yeah.
like Jared pointed out, is a really good word. And we all have it, but it really manifests in nasty ways. And we have seen a lot of that. And I'm sure a lot of other creatives have too.
Anyone selling any product in the world probably sees that. But
Well, let's work on getting you back to game making. I think y'all have a happier life if you can spend some more time focused
this
on
would probably
making
be
games.
a warmer response to this question if we had been
We're gonna
spending the last few weeks doing fun passion work.
Let's just
Amen.
build a monster that eats those people. Is that bad?
A
They
little
can just
bit.
like there's a circle of life though,
I don't know.
Did
Maybe
you
Maybe
peek in
not.
my garage? At my secret project?
Just yeah.
Just a life-size Luna.
you turn on destroy mode.
Yeah. Red eye is the only setting.
That's right. We're gonna submit you to Tom's garage for reconditioning.
Recondition Luna's primary function.
That's right.
Resistance is futile.